Is left. One more game. Game number 6. As you may have guessed, we did have a remake. We had one earlier on today as well. These guys just a little bit too antsy to get in. Someone's kicking power supply cables or something and unplugging PCs. So we're almost there to get in for our final match of the final stage of Players Masters Asia 4.
We do have time though, so I'd like to pick your brain on something. Two things though. What are the possibilities of you running like a school trip onto the PUBG United? I think that'd be a great idea to get exposure on the industry.
Yeah. So, all right, podcast time. So I've been doing English teaching. We did a unit that was all about what do you want to be when you're older, and I have 3 classes, 30 kids each, so 90 kids total, and I had about 70 of them write down, I want to be a pro gamer. Most of them, the second sentence was, because I love to play Roblox, I said, no, that's not going to work. That's not what pro gaming is. So I told them your homework for today is to watch this tournament, so you actually get to learn a little bit about pro gaming. But it's definitely an option. And hey, get them started off early. Why not? I mean, out here in APAC, we have players coming up that are young players coming up through the academy leagues. I mean, Long X has been doing really well for Team Flash. He was a player who spent a few years coming up through the Cerberus Academy before trying out for their roster under a slightly different name. Ended up not making the cut and then went over to Buffalo Esports. Instantly became a Vietnam Series champion. You have the likes of Huang F, who came up through the Expendables Academy, and now he's leading TDT to international appearances left and right. The academy scene is massive out here in APAC, and we've got a whole lot of talent, but finally we get into the game and we get to see some of the talent from all around Asia come to a head for the final time out here on Erangel, the last game of the Players Masters Asia 4. Thank you for sticking with us throughout our little yap session as the lobby restart came back through. But it's over now, and it is time for one last chance for any of these teams to try and catch up to T1's dominant margin of just under 100 points.
97 is the points to beat if you want to rise above the rest here. T1 did do it with 4 chicken dinners, so that's also going to be in consideration should those tie breaker be triggered somehow. So it's not just the points, you'll also have to surpass them instead of just matching them to the teeth. Right now we're down to our last map of the day in a final Erangel with a flight path that cuts fairly even, but the circle again reflecting to the first map we have today. Center put it, we have Milta, the area of trigger somehow, and the likes. So it's not just the points, you'll also...
We're getting a lot of similar areas, similar zones, aren't we? Out east again. You saw one game earlier on, that was where Alter Ego picked up their first victory of the day. Just about coming off the back of a second, although it feels a little bit longer ago than just one game prior. It has been about 35 minutes since they finished that game. Never mind. Into the final game we go, and it's going to be out to the east. Gamda Sal, that team in third place right now, 4 points behind FW, 18 points behind T1 in total, and in with a chance of making absolute history out here for Players Masters Asia 4 if they could somehow find a way to get a big kill chicken dinner, dethrone T1. But what a run it's been for all of Korea, all the way throughout the tournament. They've just been consistently dominating towards the top. Good stuff from FW Esports. Got to give them their credit as well as a team that we haven't seen competing today, but still coming down to the final game, still with a hold on second place. And they could very well end up in second place if GDS go out early, if Eagle Owls do not manage to pick up 10 or more points. FW could still end up as a second place team. But right now, all eyes are on the teams that can overtake them and whether or not they'll have a chance to do it in this final game.
I think GDS, they have to play out of their minds here. You cannot afford to make mistakes. The competition is on 2 planes right now. Not just for the number 1 spot, but also on a personal level, you're up against T1. You're both from Korea. T1 is such an established brand and you are an orange. You want to be able to have that bragging rights at the end of the day, and that's going to pave your way to so many opportunities. Maybe GDS gets a rebrand, looks like a better looking orange per se, something in 3D. I don't know what that might be, but it's all for them to earn and all for them to win here when they're up against giants such as T1 itself. Meanwhile, taking a look at 4 a.m. already has got eyes on Team Magic here. Oh, gets knocked out. An easy one, unsuspecting victim, always great for the pickoff here. Huli goes down, and that's first blood drawn.
Sometimes you can kind of watch what a player's doing, and you could, even if the UI was disabled and it didn't have team names, you can probably tell who the player is. And watching a player creep forward a few hundred meters away from the rest of his squad to get a catch on an unsuspecting victim, and the whole time he's spamming the button to switch his weapon from auto into single fire. I'm like, that is the most Shen thing you could possibly imagine. This kid cannot go 4 seconds without pressing a button. It's usually W, but then he's constantly switching into single fire. Spinner. He's lucky that he remembers to switch it back all the time. Team Flash, though, with the first team elimination gone in a flash. We've done that and used that one a few times, but it applies once again here as NMU, first time competitors out of China. Fortunately for them, not going to be making much of an impact in the final game as they're eliminated in under 5 minutes by Team Flash. They're going to be able to grab the revive as well.
I reckon that they're potentially just throwing that one at home, I thought, though, because 17 Gaming up against Paro, Patrick Road, that we've seen time and time again. These are teams that do not run from a fight, and instantly you see the U-turn maneuvers are there, trying to go in with the drive-by against them. Oh, but it's Patrick Road that has one member falling far below optimal level of health. Has to drive out of there. Maybe we'll get them next time, boys.
I think kind of chatting amongst themselves, like, how much did you hit that guy? Like, is he lower than us? Oh, okay, let's chase them. But no, just giving up the position for now. And Petrichor Road will continue back up on the hill as 17. He almost came under a little bit more pressure. His team push 8-2. Rocked up on the far side. Rex, oh no. Songjang is refueling the vehicle right in front of him. But Rex doesn't want to take the peek. He's got the freest kill right now. Oh, he's going to get another one as another one pops up to refuel the vehicle. Oh, no. This is criminal.
Uh-oh. Getsu? Maybe? No. Gets traded out before he could finish the job. Unfortunate. That opportunity was right there. It just didn't line up in time. Meanwhile, Zenith around the bridge side will get a kill on the member of Begopa at the very least. So they've lost one. But I think with that crippling, they were able to cripple the members within the gas station. Do they look to pursue it though further?
Yeah, they're grabbing the revive in the gas station. It's going to take a while for them to get back to full health, but really good reactions from Akan to hop out of the vehicle. Might have had to cancel the refueling as well. PO's tire has been popped. That's another casualty of this little engagement. I'll look to try and chase down towards him as Akan. Just trying to put some pressure down to prevent them from getting any closer. But that could have been an absolute disaster for Begopart. Rex had the lineup on the two of them, but going into TPP spray as just sprinting on through the door went the first one. Just wasn't able to land the shots on the second as Akan hops out of the vehicle.
Ooh.
And Pio getting flanked by Zenith just sits him down completely. Panzerfaust doesn't connect either. You can still pick this up.
Well, there were too many structures right there, structural beams in place to serve as cover. That Panzerfaust a little far too wide to try and poke through. But members of the FN, Zenith right there, lost handling on his vehicle. It actually caused him, because he was staggered for the time being after that spin. It was a straight shot into picking him off. And now FN, what seemed to be a great introduction right now, up against Begopa, who also has 3 members. So FN instantly outnumbered, outgunned, and now more dropping like flies. Only one member who's split too far apart to try and seal the deal here. Surely it's as good as gone.
And all this fell apart because, I don't know, maybe Rex just held his nerve a little bit too long. Maybe should have just taken the opportunity for the first free kill when he had the chance. Just that trigger discipline, patience. Waiting for a second to try and line it up, but just couldn't connect to the shots quickly enough. I can't. Just nice reactions, keeping Bagel Par in it. And they should be able to get the revive onto Park Pro as well. And FN looks like a pretty strong position for them. They completely had the drop on Bagel Par. It's Bagel Par who's got the 3 kill points out of it. FN continuing on as a solo for now. DN Freaks with a solid position. They're on Heaven, with Heaven still alive. And if game 1 is anything to go by, having 2 Heavens on your team, like, how could you possibly lose?
But DNF right now, based on how they're playing the game, which I don't blame them, right? You don't want to go out too soon, as it's the final run. But you know how mentality is usually broken if you have one bad game before the last? Now you're going to be all super passive, not taking risks and chances, and that could be a great idea, but also look at the format of the game. It's incentivized for you to get kills, and the moment you're not doing that, you're going to be the ones in the losing end towards the late if you don't pick up those third parties.
Always got to be proactive, especially when we get into a situation like this. Game 6. If you're going to want to have a chance, you got to get all of those points. You got to stack them all up the whole way through. I'm actually... I don't know. This Game 6 is not as Game 6-y as yesterday's Game 6, but we are now shifting back into an area where the vast majority enter of the zone is wide open field, so maybe it's about to get a whole lot Game 6-ier, as everyone's probably just going to try and find somewhere to breach, and DNF, their position on Heaven, or Sky Garden as they call it in Korea. Maybe that's prime real estate for some breaching. So who knows, they might have some defensive duties to do. Those kills that they need to try and catch up onto the top 2 positions, they might just drive themselves into their compound for free.
Yeah, that might just happen, especially with the new circle update. Teams are gonna, who's made the travels all the way down east, now is gonna make the travel back on west, and that's gonna cause them to have an inevitable altercations to at least drive by the compound, check it out, maybe, even if they don't trade fires, unless one can hold them back, and that person has to be Lil Ghost, who again just has to be the member that always gets taken down out, and OO to follow on with 7 X-Bay and Wood will now be a little far too apart to try and come in with the cover, so they will have to pretty much cut the losses here, count them as collateral, and play on the rest of the game with only 2 members.
We have to kind of give at least the benefit of the doubt. We as observers, as spectators, we get to see basically what happens to every single team in the lobby. So when we say, if you're taking a 2-2 split, 4am is just going to rock up and dominate you. Maybe all of the other teams don't quite have that much information, but it's exactly what happens. 17 Gaming in a 2-2 split, and then the nice little position from a Tongmu to creep up the broken wall, find an angle to land a double headshot onto Xiao Bei. And Xiao Wu, he's going to have to scramble to grab that revive. He does still have the Panzerfaust if 4am are mounting up in their vehicle. I'm watching them in the background again. Wright just blew himself up with a petrol station. That's not what you want from the team that needs a 20 kill win to compete for first place. What? What do you mean?
What's all this handicap coming in from? And they were only like 3 points away from taking over second place itself. At least bypass that before that sort of mishaps take place. You gotta lock in.
Okay. Alright, well, okay, sure. Interesting. Alter Ego, now with another fight to have to try and take. Simoy is lurking on an off angle from where the rest of the squad is making noise driving around in the vehicles. Chibarit is low HP, needs to get a heal if he can, but TM was swarming that area. And is it Bo? Crept up the hill behind them. That could be a problem. And Trick has been spotted out, so Peng, if he puts a marker down, Bo could get into a position to get some shots into the back of Alter Ego. Now that those shots have rung out, Alter Ego might just completely just bail out from this area.
They don't seem to have the footing or the know-how on where the members of Team Magic is. So they're just spraying. This is like guerrilla warfare at this point. Just popping out with the ghillie suit under the cover and gaze of these grasslands. Hang Zai gets 1 member. That's Chibarit too. A key member from Alter Ego's firepower deleted and now Trick to join along with Team Magic, pulling rabbits out of the hats. This is something they did not expect here, Alter Ego. You could call it a sleight of fist, but right now, they're the ones who's doing the work, and now Pero under the scopes.
Bo following up on a big tag from Hangzai with a 4x standing M249 spray, landing enough tags to take down a third member of Alter Ego now, as well as Petrichor Road, as you say, enter themselves into the equation. Hooli is down and out for Team Magic. And the zone has shifted again back up towards the northwest, centering more so around the Hall of Fame, around Heaven, those wide open fields. So Team Magic's going to fall back, get to some vehicles. They've got a bit of movement to have to make to get into the zone, but it's getting all the more tempting for any of these teams who like to play that aggressive style, who like to commit breaches onto compounds. They're still going to be eyeing up DNF's position and thinking, if there's any chance, any sign of weakness, any knock they concede, it might just be go time.
Well, good news. GDS, Gamdasal, got the revive onto the one member. Blew himself out, that would be right.
Why is there even a gas station around here? I'm so confused.
So they're in place, but Team Flash though, they just came in with a team wipe, and now if they're crashing onto Gamdasal, they have one member who has not much of a loot. But it is JDS, J-Chan, who actually shoots towards Team Flash. I reckon you don't really want to get the attention upon your end, especially right after the revive, but I guess rules don't apply to them when you're playing a hit here. GDS now has to get into vehicle to cross into the circle. I don't think they're going to get that luxury though, as Team Flash will keep them at bay. They do have a small compound to play around with, so that should keep some of these enemies, these peeking enemies, at bay.
Based on quick and probably inaccurate math, GDS from this point onwards gonna need the win and 13 more kills to overtake T1. Right on the respawn. I mean, typically we would say, oh no, he's only got a UMP. It's not ideal, but I mean, SMGs have been so impactful that maybe that's not too much of a disadvantage at all. Plus the fact he had a Panzerfaust in the back pocket, so that if there was anyone lurking in these dips, he could just instantly delete one or two of them. But it does mean that his position is not going to be very useful in terms of late game or long range engagements. But having that Panzerfaust there, he can just be purely committed to defensive duties. If anyone tries to breach into their bowls, if the zone shifts over to the west, which it doesn't, oh my. Well, this zone is horrendous. 4 a.m. Stealing away that position from 17 earlier on. Dead center of the zone. Everything around them is fields. Even Heaven has been shifted away from. So DNF need to get down. Everyone else going to be scrapping for the tiniest little ridges, and there's not a whole lot of them either.
GDS gave me a little bit of hope earlier on. I saw them driving as 3. I thought they were going to pull in the drive-bys that worked so well for them with that 23-point game itself. Unfortunately, it doesn't get the chance, but maybe now with the new circle they will. Meanwhile, Bagopado going up against Team Magic, who's already did some guerrilla warfare against one team earlier on. Knocked him out of the lobby itself, Namu. It was, I believe. And now, Bo goes in from the top side, spots one, proning. Will delete him and send him off into the lobby before he could send those recon apart. But right now, again, it feels like Team Magic just miraculously coming on top of these engagements. A team down at the bottom only got 22 points so far, looking to do absolute work in this lobby. 5 kills has been picked up. Hangzai, now getting tagged from the far side. I believe that's a third party now coming in.
Here it is, that MG3 going kind of wild for Park Pro. He's got the EMT gear as well, so he's really set up for a one-man army. He's just going to grab as many meds as he can. Can use those things pretty quickly with the EMT gear. No teammates left around to survive, to be able to grab the revive onto though. And make his way over. Maybe look to find a vehicle, get out of here if he gets the chance to. But there is still enemies lurking nearby. GDS. Oh, they're scrapping. And down to one player standing. It looks like they tried to go flying forwards.
Oh no.
put that Panzerfaust to some use. It looks like they forced Team Flash back out from this position. Needs to hop in the vehicle and continue making a move, though. Find a place, but I don't think they're getting their 12 more kills from here.
Nah, no way.
And EOS has gone out of the equation as well. It might just be over. It looks like it is. Unless TN Freaks can kill everyone in the lobby. I don't know. Probably not, though.
It's set up for them, but right now T5 might just keep them back for the time being. But look at that. They need to scale so high up. About 20-something-ish points. Maybe 30 to be comfortable. To try and get on the number 1. Well, I don't think that's so even.
DNF can still win if they win the game and kill literally everyone. Every single player who's still alive needs to die to DNF, and they can win the tournament. And there we go. Oh, there's one. Okay, Binek has now been killed by somebody else. So that means, at best, it's pretty much a tie. Well, it's been a fun ride. T1 deserved champions, I think it's fair to say. And yeah, they really were one of the first teams to properly adapt to this style of play. Just full send, MP5s, drive-by, no holding back, full send aggression. Caught a lot of teams off guard in the earlier phases, and they really capitalized on that, so well done to them. But it's been a really solid run for GDS, Eagle Owls as well. Some of those other teams that are not the first ones that immediately spring to mind when you think of like top competing Korean teams. Those would be the likes of DNF, T1, Bagopart. So at least being able to compete against those kind of teams. Impressive stuff. But we've still got a game to finish off, so let's see who's going to get the chicken dinner for Game 18 here of the finals. Anyone's Legend backfilling onto some space with some high ground to work with. Destroy over the top, finds one. Himas can't land the sprays. It's a double knock. Xiaofeng takes down Haisaki as well. Destroy, last bullet in the gun. Sits him down, but he ain't getting those revives.
Destroy, absolutely destroying team right there, keeping them from, well, pretty much overpowering the entire team. But they are now down to a couple of numbers here. Meanwhile, it is this team, T5, who's now trying to compete against this compound.
Good luck,
mates.
Another
member. It's 17 Gaming on the inside, who's only got one left standing. And surely, with the Panzerfaust in hand, it's going to be an easy deed to be done. X-Crozet going in explicit here with that explosion. It simply nails the coffin.
Checking over the top of the smoke just to see if he could find an angle. Did spot him out and almost took himself down. Ranger X still getting chunked out by the blue owners. How are they respawning people right now? How's this gonna work? Bagopart, I mean, he could land on the roof, maybe? I guess. It's not even in the zone. Gonna try and sneak his way in, find a weapon, possibly?
You dying giving those to me.
Them bringing them back into play. Flucky spotted it as well, so they even know that there's players here. But they are going to drop down onto the inside, maybe try and find a weapon. Maybe the guy that Flucky just kaboomed with the Panzerfaust.
It's not very sneaky, that one. He came in with a huge banner floating amidst the air in slow motion too. And well, in X-Crozet fashion, he's got another Panzerfaust in play here. Should he look to keep them? Oh, but he falls out. I heard a C4 behind earlier on. Not too sure if it was ever deployed itself, but
I mean, that might have been the jammer pack beeping to say that it's running out of juice and you're going to be perishing soon. How's that grenade not getting damaged done? Surely this one.
Enemies ahead.
So that concludes it. Can he go for the pickup though? Remember, I think it's bled out already. Yep, just Flucky alone. T5 on his back. BGP.
Okay, well there's the last one. There he is. Okay. Well, I mean, if he stays up here a little bit longer, he could easily get one placement point. It could happen. As Petrichor Road seeming like they've had enough of being alive and they're just gonna hopefully not drive into their own grenade, but they're gonna just smash straight into a bit of a defensive hole. The BRDM Obviously, they've got a
Ayun,
BRDM.
may
It's going to
name
make it a bit difficult.
One
One more nade, maybe, to try and flush him out. He's off.
I am.
How do you even play against this towards the late game when you've expunged all your utilities and Panzerfaustus? Oh, there we go. Just have to wait for him to go out and do the first blood damage, and he's just gonna hop back
Awesome.
right in like a turtle. You somehow it's working out for him. Ah, there we go. A second one at that. The dance of death with the BRDM. I don't even know how to play that without utilities.
And they even had grenades. They just can't throw them. As soon as they pull the pin, he's just going to hop out and do that to you anyway. Oh, it sucks. Well, Flucky is looking quite doomed as he's cycled his way behind a tree. 4 a.m. who took this position away earlier on from 17 Gaming. Will make it into the top 4. Akan does not make it though. Flucky spotted him out. Claims the free kill point for himself. That's 7 in the game now for T5, just before he goes down for 8 kills. Once again for 4 a.m., but it's their first time into the top 4 with this amount of kills. Their aggression paid off. They've got themselves the position. And DN Freaks in with a chance of winning this game, but it won't be enough. They might be able to sneak up into a top 2 spot. Possible. Or maybe not even. I don't know. I'm done doing maths. 4 Angry Men probably going to win this game, but there's still a chance that this BRDM could cause big problem for many teams.
Luckily, he's just a one guy, so I guess they're gonna ignore him and him them. It's a mutual gentleman's agreement, I think. But it's 4 a.m.
Bodying people out of BRDMs.
That's true. That's a different sort of phenom, you know. That's Patrick Road. Meanwhile, though, 4 Angry Men, I guess the secret to their playstyle is the center circle, because this time it worked out for them real well. I can tell they're itching to try and go in with the aggro, because that's just the people they are. They're angry men. They don't look to sit around and do nothing and idle by and wait for the zone. It seems like they've got trigger finger all happy and itchy to be pulled on towards the side of DNF. DNF still 5 kills already though, so that's pretty decent. If they would have finished with another 5, that would put them at 81, so not so much. But they can get more here. Surely they'll have to eliminate each other, and that's going to be kill points onto the way of the potential chicken
doing?
as well.
4 a.m. are actual maniacs. They're climbing onto the roof so they can get angles. Alright, these guys don't have a care in the world. That's wild. Well, Singam over there did have his BRDM exploded. That's now in a pile of rubble a little bit further ahead. It might have just rolled into the zone, and he does have 7 smokes, so he could maybe get over towards it to use it for cover. And then if he's able to do that, he has 7 frag grenades as well. So if he can somehow get into range of at least one of these teams, he could do a lot of chip damage. Maybe even decide a winner of this game if he can land a knock or 2. But getting into range to use them is going to be difficult, as both of these teams are just staring him down. Even with 4 a.m. getting up on the roof looking for angles over to DNF, it's all eyes focused on Singam. Once he's dealt with, it's a straight 4 versus 3, and 4 a.m. have the numbers advantage. DNF not too interested in giving up any potential advantage to their rivals.
Well, yeah, it's a stalemate for the time being. 82 does have the BRDM to come in much later, actually, if he wants to. He can rotate into center circle quite safely, unless there was a Panzerfaust that wasn't shown or displayed much earlier on. So he can play towards the late game. I think for him, that's the gameplay, right? Get them to address each other and then come in, maybe even roll over a couple of members and perch out somewhere to go in with this spray to clean up some more kill points before he goes out.
Just waiting for anyone to make a move. It's probably going to be the zone that forces it. Phase 8 is probably not going to be the one that does enough to force it. DN Freaks have to shuffle forward a little bit. It might be enough to put them in dangerous terrain. 4 a.m. still get to hold on to their corner of their building for now. They can move forward. There's a little ridge just on the outside. Singam is going to have to make a move, put those smokes to use. Longs is stepping down. little tag. Something.
This is probably the most passive of playstyle coming out from 4 Angry Men. They've never sat down
I got
this
supplies.
long and do nothing, just waiting for
They
circle.
really
So,
haven't. But they've got no one to third party right now. Like they're one of the only parties left.
Oh, there
They
we go.
can't sneak up while other people are fighting. But DL is gonna get up close. Okay, let's get this party started.
Immediately, like
Baits
ants,
out multiple grenades from 4 a.m. onto the vehicle.
like ants to sugar. They just cannot resist. Immediately tries to go for it, but Gyumin gets one member. It's a Tong Mu. Now deploying all the defensive smokes. Have to go
Let's
into the
go.
pickup just to be able to stand toe to toe, and this could probably be good time for the likes of Plus 82 to maybe make the rotation in with that
गाडी
big
चाहिन्छ, चाँडो
hunky
खोज्दा।
truck of a vehicle. But Long's pressed on forward. He's got Shen as well to come in with the support should it be required, but Longs gets
Oh.
taken out by Dale's nades, dealing that damage from
Told him
the
get out.
far side here. Oh, now not looking well too healthy here.
Okay.
DN Freaks seems to come on top of this one more positively. Already knocked 2 members down.
Mark
Just
the
needs to clean
location.
up the rest here. Meanwhile, Plus 82 just idling by on the outside of the circle. Maybe only now starts to make the movement in.
That's some crazy work from DL. Hopping into the vehicle, getting
Mark
in
the
the smoke
vehicle.
so he can use the camera to look around for information. One final not will be traded because Yumin goes a little over aggressive, seeing that the solo has been cleaned up on the far side of the zone. They do still have blue zone grenades, and the blue zone, the real one, is starting to creep forwards, shoving 4 angry men into a really tight corner, but they've still got a couple bits of utility. The Molotov isn't going to quite spread far enough onto DL. The salute with the crossfire
Let's
might
go.
just get them down.
They got to pick up onto Shen, so thankfully. But Axlu falling pretty low as well. Have to try and heal himself back up. They still have 2 with that third pickup earlier on. But now, Tong Mu, they have not finished the job just yet. They could also go in with the pickup here. That could be 3 members to try and push on forward against this split 1-1 positioning of Day and Freaks. They can overpower the 1 member. And right now, they have to take this as phases. Phase 1, take over DL. And then you reset for the next. Oh, but right now, then XX Lu gets knocked down. Maybe even a confirmed kill this time around because he's quite exposed in the open. He could be trying to bait them out here, but the shotgun is there to try and stop any sort of advancement. 4 a.m. did not expect that one, and now dancing behind this buggy itself. Surely they will have to bow out to the victors here. DNF at the point where they needed it most. The final game they came in for.
Bam Sang Head, man, what a baller. Just rocking up in the UAZ, getting up close to the 4-man 4 a.m., baiting out all of their grenades onto his vehicle. He brought 5 grenades of his own to find those opening picks. And that little one tap with the sword off at the end, just to secure it with the covering fire from Salute. DNF will pick up our final victory, but it was not enough. They were the one team coming into today that was in a good position to outrank T1, but they simply could not
Watch
get it
out.
over the line as T1 are crowned champions of Masters 4 in Asia.
Now, who could ever deny them, right? 4 chicken dinners, an average of 7 kills at every game, even though they're like the 6th or 5th team to go out. They were always putting scores across the board. They're always ensuring that as a minimum. And I guess this team, if anyone's going to be awarded for consistency, it's going to be them.
Yeah, I mean, that was really what it was. It was the likes of them going up basically head-to-head with FW on day 1, Groups A versus Group B. They were the only
Watch
2
out.
teams that were really putting consistent games on the board. DNF somewhat as well. They were a little bit behind those other 2 teams by the end of day number 1, but then day 2 rolls around. FW falls off a little bit, but T1 just foot on the pedal, acceleration, full speed ahead, MP5 in hand, swinging around and just headshotting everyone in sight, and just really being the first team to properly commit to what ends up being the kind of meta that all of the teams end up using in the very end. It's close range fights. It's difficult to track people with weapons in this game, so just make it a little bit easier on yourself. MP5s, hip firing, close range fights, Panzers, all of that beautiful stuff that we see all throughout this tournament. and BRDM is having a big impact all throughout as well. But all said and done, all of the different strategies and approaches to the game, T1's shows up the best.
Yeah, I guess super versatile of a team as well, right? We've seen display of a wide knowledge of the game. They played 3 games yesterday at a more aggressive front, 3 more passive, and they did exceptionally well on both. Again, 7 averages and kills for the first 3 games. They get a little bit lesser of a kill points, but they did get the chicken dinner. So in the end of the day, in the overall, they're going to win the champion prize pool. They're going to win the chicken dinner prize pool. They're going to win the daily prize pool, in which they got both days back to back. Potentially even the MVP title. They're taking it and running away with it. A rich man, rich and happy man.
Yeah, and you would hope, beyond all hope, that that is enough for them to get that invitation spot into the Players Masters Asia 5 LAN event on their home turf of Seoul, Korea, in the mid to late stages of December, shortly after PGC as well. So there's a whole lot more competing that these guys are going to have to do throughout the year. So being crown champions, coming up against some really tough opposition, teams like global partner teams, players that have even PGC championship titles to their name in the past. Yeah, you've got to really come out and perform to the best of your ability, come up with unorthodox strategies maybe, as TPP, a very different style of play to FPP, and they were the team that really just brought the adaptations, especially with the updates to the game itself, because I mean these guys have been playing TPP pretty much the whole year as this Players Tour format has come to fruition, but the game is getting updated. That affects both FPP and TPP, so applying those changes, making changes to the way that you approach the game in both FPP and TPP is really, really difficult, and a lot of credit to T1 and their supporting staff as well. Sonic, previous PGC championship winning coach as well on that squad, for getting these guys to just try something a little bit different. Just be brave enough to go out there and be the team that does the unorthodox strategy, and they benefit from it so much.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations once again to T1, all the blessings upon them, but also the curse and the burden of having to uphold as the team hailing from the motherland and a home host for the next Player Masters Asia itself. So it's a larger prize pool, more home ground audience. You could say they will get the buff itself, but it is going to be up against bigger competitors, much like BB Team.
Yeah, I don't know exactly if BB Team will be competing, but the global partners, that's for sure. 10 of them from all around the world. That's going to include teams like Twisted Minds, Batulins. What an iconic team that is, and they're going to be facing off against them, probably at PGC as well, for any of the teams from this tournament that have the ability to qualify to PGC throughout the PWS and the year as a whole. It's going to be such an exhausting month for so many teams to have to go out there, compete against the best teams in the world. Some of them might get eliminated early on. Some of them might make it to the finals and have all 3 weeks of games. And then you've got to go to Korea and do it all again just 1 week later. And it's just going to be so tough mentally and physically as well. But we've seen some crazy stuff so far from all of these teams. DL with a big play to secure DNF their win at the final match of Players Masters Asia 4. So it creeped them up in the standings. I think it was to 83 points, which, if I'm not mistaken, is tied on points with FW Esports. The tiebreaker being who has the more placement points throughout the course of the tournament. Whether that's FW or DNF,
Bring up voice
I'm
chat.
not entirely sure. We'll have to wait for the leaderboards to know
Bring
for
up
certain.
voice chat.
But the one thing that we do know is they did not do enough to
Bring up
overtake
voice chat.
T1. Even with the 14 points that they picked up here, they would have needed more than that. Even Gamdal Sal would have needed more points than that to overtake T1 coming into this final game. So just a really dominant run from them, and much deserved champions. Commiserations to everyone who's competed today, coming in from a big disadvantage of points. 43 on the day, Sal 41 on the day, kills for 4 AM.
4 AM just literally just rose up the rank here. Of course, this is just the daily leaderboards itself. We'll have to see where they fare against the total overalls, but Gamda Sal, not to take away the spotlight from them, they are the day winner, taking home that $5,000. Again, we mentioned they're gonna go home pretty much a rich boy here with this orange in place. So congratulations to them. More looking forward to the total leaderboards, which is the ones on display. And T1 still maintains, but FWE Sports held their ground because of a higher placement, I believe.
Yeah, placement points being the decision maker, but 6 of the top 7 teams all being from Korea, and then Team Flash holding it down for APAC alongside you in the top 8, and then a bit of a run of Chinese squads and TDT to round out the top 12 throughout the course of the tournament. But all said and done, T1 confirmed as champions, taking home that 10,000 USD plus the winner daily winner prize on day number 2, plus 4 winner chicken dinners individual prizes, plus the most kills in the tournament of $5,000. They've been stacking up the numbers all the way throughout, and it's difficult to say that anyone else would have deserved to take this particular prize. MVP of the event, Heather, with his 29 kills, 4,500 damage, and an extra $2,000 for himself.
Then, I mean, this was the guy we saw yesterday clutching it out, playing the edges, the corner of a house to, I guess, 2 teams that were going at him as a single player itself. So he's definitely pulled some weight and some highlight reels at that. So the prize standings will be as displayed here. T1 is just foreshadowing the second place itself by multiple multipliers here. 24,000. This is a good format to have because it's really, you really get paid for the efforts you put in. It's equal to that, right? And you're walking away well deserving against the rest here. Unfortunately, it's going to create a gap because of the format at play.
Yeah, definitely a big gap between T1 and everyone else, but it's interesting actually to look at the rest of the standings and say, okay, well, FW held on to second place, but they're the 3rd highest points earners, and then DN Freaks was 3rd place in the leaderboards, but they're only the 4th highest because Gamdal Sal with the victories and, not crucially, getting the most points today. Really solid performance from them as a slightly more unknown team, but it's T1, the champions of Players Masters for Asia. They're going to be a team to really look out for as the year comes to an end. PGC and Players Masters 5 coming up in November and December. Do not miss out on those. If you get the chance to travel, it's absolutely worth it because you get to see some of the best in the world compete at PUBG. I've been Saga. I've had Keith with me. This has been Players Masters 4. There's a lot more PUBG coming soon, so stay tuned, stick around, and make sure you come back soon.
Yeah, my club of Maggie. Last time I played, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, sure.
लो एक जनालाई मारलु नक्किनी sana 피니시는 아니라
해주셔서 감사하고 저희 마스터즈 1, 2에 이어 3는 아쉽게 뺏겼지만 4도 우승해서 5도 확실히 저희가 우승할 수 있을 거란 생각이 듭니다.
네. अल्छी पो लाग्यो यार खेल्नलाई त.
항상 응원해주신 팬분들 너무 감사드리고 팬분들 덕분에 저희가 이렇게 열심히 대회를 뛸 수 있는 것 같고 남은 대회가 이제 저희가 PGC랑 이제 그 마스터즈 5가 남았는데 그 두 대회 모두 다 우승할 수 있도록 열심히 준비해서 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 항상 감사드립니다.
अल्छीमान हुँदैन नि त साथीहरू
It is showtime.
यो जमानमा के हो र यो जमानामा अल्छी लाग्नु हुँदैन किनभने ऐसीले काट्छ जैसी को हो त्यो मलाई झ्याम हान्दै जाने
होला नि तेरो शुभचिन्तक.
Ahora los mini games con que jugaba like ano like ano com game ma jam jamane ma
I'm out. Need ammo. Get in the car.
पानीतिर झर्न आँटे क्या हो?
No.
कहाँ घुमायो नि यसले?
यहाँ आऊ न यो गेम चाँडै सिद्धिन्छ पनि हेर्दै गर आइहाल्छ गेममा होइन
हो म गइहाल्छु चाँडै सकाइदिनु ल.
हेर कस्तो रिस नउठाइ ऊ गइ नै सकेछ भने यस्ता छ